Okay, and welcome to Uncensored Conservatism, episode 210. Today we're going to go around the United States in less than 12 minutes, but we're going to do this through colleges this time. At California Polytech, according to a civil rights complaint, Jewish students on campus who were harassed by pro-Hamas nitwits were told by administrators to hide their Jewishness to avoid the harassment. Now, can you imagine if, gays were harassed on campus and the administration says, just go back in the closet, hide your gayness? Well, all heads would explode. Meanwhile, at UCLA, anti-Israeli protesters there are suing the university for violation of their civil rights and complain of post-traumatic stress disorder. They cause a lot of problems out there, and they should have suffered from a club upside their heads anyway. Well, a few professors at the University of California will share a $2 million grant for climate action art initiatives. Whatever the fuck that means. I guess they're going to draw the earth in a fireball or something. I don't know. Anyway. At Stanford, outside environmental wackadoodles interrupted a presentation by former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, accusing him of being a climate criminal. I don't know. If they weren't students, maybe they should have been arrested or possibly tasered or something. Anyway, they were escorted out. The University of California at San Diego is advertising a wide range of gender-affirming care on their healthcare website. So if you're a student and want your tits or balls lopped off, this is the college for you. Better yet, Chapman University in the Golden State is offering a course in porn studies, which should make homework rather interesting. Yeah, instead of a term paper, make a porn movie. Roxy does Chapman. Anyway. All right, this is Zoe Johnson, a student at the University of Colorado in Boulder, and she's suing the school for investigating her because she questioned why a choir ensemble was dedicated to gay history, and she once asked innocently what a do-rag was. Seriously, that's a microaggression, folks. They investigated her for this. Here's hoping she wins and takes them to the cleaners. But it is Colorado, so you never know. This is Helia Dutagi, an academic at Yale Law School. She was suspended by the university after her ties to a terrorist group emerged. It seems that she has deep ties to a designated terrorist group called Samadoun. Recently, she took to social media to claim that she will continue her fight against a fascist America. Yeah, that's what Yale hires as a law school teacher. All right. And with the Trump administration getting serious about that DEI shit, many colleges are scrapping their DEI offices, but some, like Connecticut colleges, are simply renaming them. In their case, it is now called the Office of Retention and Success, and George Orwell is rolling in his grave. Students at American University in D.C. have spoken and are demanding that the college designate the campus a sanctuary one for illegal immigrants. They want ICE banned from the grounds of the school. Coincidentally, these guys recently were admitted to the class of 2026. Food service and hospitality workers at Northwestern University in Illinois went on strike recently. These cooks, cleaners, and cashiers are demanding higher wages. I'm not a big fan of unions or strikes, but honestly, these people are some of the most hardworking and underpaid people on your average college campus. And because of Chicago, 3 students at the University of Chicago were robbed at gunpoint by 5 armed bandits who jumped out of an Alfa Romeo SUV with no license plates and stole their wallets. Now, crime in Chicago, who would have thought it? Professor Margaret Hagwood at St. Mary's College in Indiana is leading organized scream sessions as a way to relieve anxiety and a sense of helplessness in the wake of maybe, maybe not pro-life laws. In case you didn't know, St. Mary's is a Catholic college. Pro-Palestinian protesters at a rally in Indiana University have filed complaints that they were harassed and assaulted by pro-Israeli counter-protesters and someone with a Trump 2024 flag. After an extensive investigation by Bloomington police and campus police, it was revealed that no such incidents occurred. You would have thought they learned from this guy a thing or two about hate crime hoaxes. Don't blame Doge for this one, for uncovering the use of your tax dollars, but Southern University A&M in Louisiana received a $600,000 grant from Biden's USDA to study, are you ready for this? Menstrual strike cycles in men. I mean, come on now. Again, what's in a name? We have success and retention in Connecticut, and now we have the Department of Community Connections at the University of Maine. It's all really Orwellian. They got this down. Johns Hopkins University in Maryland was forced to lay off 2,200 workers because of cuts to the U.S. Agency for International Development. Johns Hopkins is the largest employer, by the way, in Maryland, so their unemployment figures just went up. I'd have sympathy for them, but they could dig into that endowment and maybe hit up George Soros or the Clinton Foundation for some cash. Yeah, good luck on that Clinton Foundation one. The Students for Justice in Palestine chapter at Boston University was placed on probation by the college for illegally passing out flyers calling for the university to divest from Israel. The students reacted as expected by gluing flyers to the administration building and generally acting like little spoiled jerks. Considering that they have more money than many small countries, Harvard announced that they will provide free tuition and housing and food for any student that comes from a household making less than $100,000. And they could have and should have done this a very long time ago. Professor Timothy McCarthy at Harvard believes that any professor anywhere who does not believe in, condone, or conduct gender-affirming care should be fired. So the left is complaining Trump is leading a purge of government, but this guy is leading a purge against other professors. Purges for me, but not for thee. Speaking of purges, two other professors at Harvard, Brian Enos on the left and Stephen Letitsky, funny name, on the right, recently told that college newspaper that Trump is purging the DOJ, FBI, and Defense Department and replacing the people with loyalists. This, they say, is an existential threat to democracy. And nope, it's called a presidential transition. At Hampshire College in Amherst, the college is promoting a mural dedicated to Black Lives Matter, and they stated it specifically is for BIPOC students. No word on whether any BLM founders gave up one of their mansions to finance it. And a teach-in at the University of Michigan by 10 professors drew an overflow crowd of students to address Trump and Musk's alleged shredding of the Constitution. As proof, Professor Jerry Davis said Musk used to support leftist causes, but now he doesn't. That, my friends, is an example of an existential threat to democracy. And in case you missed it, the Theater and Dance Department at the University of Michigan held an anti-racism dinner event which featured entertainment by the Equitable Troupe of performers which, being dance and theater, they were all likely queers with some blacks, Hispanics, perhaps an Asian, and a token white guy most likely in a wheelchair. The University of Minnesota Twin Cities Education Department is considering a mandatory new course called Race, Power, and Justice. In other words, the core requirement teaches the contrary. The country is systematically racist. The idea is so popular that you are now forced to take it. New York Governor Kathy Hochul, who is infinitely stupid and ugly, had to cancel an appearance at CUNY over security concerns from anti-Israeli protesters on campus. But hey, they're mostly peaceful. And according to the esteemed Professor Peter Beinart at that college, he stated that it is racist to call Hamas a terrorist organization, despite the fact there is no race called Palestinian. Never was, never will be. They're Arabs, like Jordanian or Syrian. And this is an academic. Yeshiva University, a Jewish college, has thrown in the towel after a 4-year battle and will now recognize a student gay group at the college. Bend the knee and see what happens, Yeshiva. Next, you have to recognize a Palestinian student group at a fucking Orthodox Jewish college. The Pathway to Peace conference at Cornell University between an Arab and Israeli speakers was disrupted by anti-Israeli protesters who yelled, "Fuck you, war criminals," and other profanities, or their favorite one, "from the river to the sea." 17 protesters were eventually arrested. North Carolina, Davidson College officials are investigating this student for passing out pro-Israel flyers filled with these things called facts. It seems this student all questioned transgenderism, the ultimate sin. Ohio State announced that they will resume using the SAT and ACT tests for admissions starting next year, which begs the question, why did they stop it in the first place? Guidelines at the University of Cincinnati suggest that asking someone with a disability whether you can pray for them is a microaggression. Also off the table, any mention of lameness, craziness, the blind leading the blind, or something falling on deaf ears. Penn State announced that due to declining enrollment and financial problems, they will close some campuses next year. They currently have 19 spread throughout the state. 16 students at the University of Pittsburgh were hospitalized when the roof on which they were partying collapsed. So you do stupid things, you win stupid prizes. A Brown University professor, shown here, Rasha Alaway, was denied entry back into the country after she attended the funeral of Hassan Nasrallah, the brutal Hezbollah leader in Lebanon. Yeah, don't do it. The University of Virginia announced that they are closing their DEI office and ending all programs and efforts in that area. And no, they're not rebranding it into something else yet. Students at the University of Washington reached a $4 million settlement with the college over canceled classes due to COVID 5 years ago. Apparently, the college kept their money. The college admitted no wrongdoing in the case, but they're going to fork over a lot of money. And speaking of Washington, a bill that would have required all colleges to provide abortion pills on campus failed to make it out of its legislative committee, and the effort is dead for now. Of course, women don't get pregnant in Washington colleges. They are referred to as pregnancy-capable students, or women. And finally, the former diversity officer, LeVar Charleston, who left her post at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, is under investigation. It seems the good professor gave unjustified raises to his staff, spent $18 million on massage therapy, and $21,000 at a conference in Lake Geneva. He's blaming another college official for directing him to spend a $6 million surplus. And that's it. I'm under 12. Thank you. Have a great day and a more pleasant tomorrow.